welcome back once again to Mzansi Affairs, the only show that only focuses on the current affairs that are happening all around South Africa and everywhere in the world. My name is Moeketsi, my man, and it is a beautiful Tuesday. Right now, my time is 18 minutes up until we hit 1:30 on the clock. Right now, I am not alone, but I have the one and only Miss Nosi on the call. Miss Nosi, can you hear me?
I can hear you more. Greetings, more. And everybody who's listening and watching us. And of course, this is Show Online Radio. And this particular show is Mzansi Affairs, the only relevant show.
Yeah, thank you so much about that. And I'd really like, to ask you once again, how are you really doing this morning?
Besides the electricity issues and the power stations on fire and this and that, I am actually okay. Yeah,
Mm.
that's just the issue.
Glad to hear that because we know electricity it is one of the social issues that a lot of South Africans are facing right here in the country. So I hope as much as the new parties have come together, forming new government, national unity, they can listen to what you guys are going through, and they may be able to help you.
Mhm. Hopefully so more because it's been since Sunday.
Mm,
But we are getting reports in between that are saying because our power station is the one that was actually on fire.
mm.
So we are being linked to other power stations. So for the fear of them catching fire now and then they have to release us. We literally have to be without electricity.
Because I mean, what you
So
see.
I hope somebody is listening and they're trying to get to resolve that because we can't go on like this.
Yeah, truly speaking, because as you speak about that, as South Africans, they are eagerly waiting to see the composition of the new cabinet of what's going to happen. Because
Mm,
Mr. Jabu could not also, join us because of the same issue that you are also having. So I think he is also facing, the same, problem as you. But let me play a jingle
mm.
and then we will get right back to our conversation. Gentlemen, you are still watching Mzansi Affairs with me, Moeketsi Maimani, together with Nosi on the call. So before we went to a short break, we were still discussing, the eagerly wait for the South African citizen in terms of the new cabinet that Mr. President Ramaphosa will set in the upcoming days. So we were still speaking about the electricity problem as I was outlining that Mr. Jabulani is also having the same problem of electricity, because it is something that a lot of people, they are starting to wonder because um, uh, I think weeks back, in the Zola substation also went on fire, and people were asking
Yes.
questions that why are these things happening immediately after the elections? But, there's so many conspiracies and so many, concerns and, what the people might be thinking is a sabotage for the new governments or for the new political parties who are in the play when it comes to the GNU and the coalition that is happening right here. So I think whatever that is happening, it's something that we should take into consideration and try to look up things, in terms of
Mm.
how damaging it is for people to be without electricity, because I can imagine right now how you're feeling as you guys don't have electricity. So it's been how many days now, if I may ask?
It's been three, Ma. It's been three. It started Sunday. See what they would usually do after the substation burned down. And then they told us they were going to link us to other substations. They would give
Yeah,
us a full day of electricity,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the next day, we know that around about 5, we're not going to have electricity until
Mm,
10:30.
mm,
So for the first time Sunday, we had no electricity from in fact Saturday. So it started Saturday at 5. So we hoped that by the time it's 10:30 we would have electricity.
mm,
Nothing happened.
mm,
We woke up Sunday, we had electricity briefly. Sunday, immediately after church hours, there was no electricity.
mm,
Then from then till this moment.
mm,
And all that you get is that vague message that says because you were linked to other working substations, so they are now overloaded. But the bigger question is, why were they not serviced?
Mm,
Should there be no coolers around substations?
mm,
Is it even possible to have a substation bend down? Are those things not serviced regularly? Who does maintenance of them? Why did they not see that they needed change? You see that you start having those questions as a citizen if you are being taken serious as a citizen. Another thing more, we run small businesses, which we literally live on because there are no jobs. So you start creating a business and then it's sustained by the fact that there's electricity. When there's no electricity, I can't do anything. I can't sell. If you go to Uber Eats now and search my business, you'll find it's not available because I had to make it invisible because I do not know up until when am I going to face this predicament. In the meantime, the stock that I had bought is in the fridge that is also not working. So now, if it wasn't winter, I would have probably thrown most of the things away already.
mm.
So really, it's a concern.
Yeah, it is a really big
Real
concern
concern.
because looking at the consequences of, not having electricity or, be introducing things like load reduction and load shading, those are some of the things that are not taken into consideration that, people who are running small businesses, they get affected so much to a point that, when they try so much, even to meet, the government halfway with what they're doing, it's something that as people, we need to be considerate as much as the government also, need to be considerate, in which is the new cabinet. Everyone hopes that the new cabinet that will be set by the president in the next upcoming days, they are hoping for good leadership, so that everything concerning the citizens of South Africa will be, taken into consideration. So we really hope that the new cabinet will bring, new changes, if it is new, because you'll never know, because a lot of people are getting re-elected, so I would like to
Okay.
invite everybody in our social media pages to join us. We go by share online on each and every social media platform. So I think today our hashtag ask is that what do you think of what do you think must happen? What do you want the new cabinet to bring into the table, as we are expecting a lot of changes that are going to happen, as we have seen, the incompetence of the ministries in the cabinet not doing what they are supposed to do. So today we are really going to be, highlighting, the possibilities of the new cabinet and also the inauguration of the president, because it speaks so much volume, into being re-elected, becoming the president once again, and making sure that the cabinet is set and the seats are allocated, in the parliament. So, Nosi, right now, before we get into the deep matters and talk about the possibilities of the new cabinet, in terms of, because we also know that the DA, they are pushing for their desires in terms of the ministerial post, because
Yes.
they spoke about that most of the people in their own political parties, they want to get seats into the cabinet according to the seats that they got in parliament, in which is
Mm.
those are the things that people were really not looking to, because that is when people are putting their differences forward into these things. I don't know, what do you think on what the Democratic Alliance is pushing in terms of their desired ministerial posts?
Firstly, more that outlined how difficult this whole thing of electing or setting up the cabinet is going to be for the president, because it also now highlights that the differences will be coming into place where people would try to push their own agendas as per
Yeah,
their political parties,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The DA came up and said they want 12 cabinet posts.
Mm,
Um, and their stand is that they got majority.
mm,
But at first, when you were listening to them trying to get into coalition, they were saying they're not hungry for power. They do not care if they don't get into any leadership. as long as they're going to be assigned unto the areas where they can effect change. That was the language.
Mm.
But it looks like that language has completely changed now. They're saying, let's get more seats because we got majority.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, it is not the Constitution.
Mm.
The Constitution puts no pressure to the president to elect anybody or to give seats to anybody or, sorry, cabinet posts to anybody according to the number of seats they got in parliament.
Yeah.
It does not do that. It gives him freedom to say, elect whomever you see fit to do this position.
Mm.
The only problem we can face with that, if they are then denied completely to be given what they want, the president chooses to deny them. The only issue we can have, they can walk away, and then it means now the president does not have the majority because they walk away with their majority,
Mm.
which will then mean they have to now um, elect a new president whom will have to be re-inaugurated and then elect his own cabinet.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not going to get to that, but that's the worst that can happen. But in terms of obligation, he's not obligated to do what any of the parties that he is in coalition with demand. That he cannot meet the demands if he doesn't want to. All he needs to do is to select the people he thinks they are right for the positions,
Mm.
which I think, like you have said, we're going to see a lot of re-elections because who's better than the person that you've already known that they can achieve, they can do their work, they can roll their sleeves and actually deliver. So yeah,
Yeah, because
so far.
yeah, when looking at this, coalition government and the new developed GNU that we are seeing, because we're seeing that the number of parties who are joining, it's starting to increase. We had 9. Right now we had
Mm,
Al Jama, coming in, and they have signed
yes.
that to be part of the government national unity. So right now on my comment section, we have Bongani Morake saying, hello, my name is Bongani from Lichtenberg. And then he comes back, says, it's the small town, my brother. Okay, the small town, my brother. She's still racist. The government, she doesn't, she don't take serious, about the things. I think what he is trying to emphasize is that, when it comes to the DA and what Helen Zille is actually doing, is showing the signs
Mm,
of racism in our country. So, guys, as I promised
true.
you, that as much as we are going to talk about the possibilities of the new cabinet, so last week we had the inauguration of the president happening, whereby Mr. Ramaphosa was put back into being the president of the Republic of South Africa. So we're just gonna play a clip, before we get into a lot of things. We're just gonna play a clip on what the president had to say and the preparation that he wants to give the people of South Africa. So right now, let me play this clip for you and hear for yourself what the president had to say.
In the presence of everyone assembled here and in full realization of the high calling I assume as President of the Republic of South Africa, I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and will obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and all other law of the Republic. And I solemnly and sincerely promise that I will always promote all that will advance the Republic and oppose all that may harm it. Protect and promote the rights of all South Africans, discharge my duties with all my strength and talents to the best of my knowledge and ability, and true to the dictates of my conscience, do justice to all, and devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and all its people. So help me God.
Yes, guys, that was a clip of what happened. So, for you guys who didn't, see the whole clip, we are going to come back and play the clip for you, to give you a glimpse of what the president had to say in his inauguration that happened last week. So, Nosi, I don't know if you had
Yes,
that, because the president actually pledged, in front of the eyes of the people of South Africa, so we were listening
yes.
closely as, at what he was saying, as he was pledging, as he was promising the people of South Africa, to deliver according, to what the country structure is all about, because we have seen that the incompetence of the ministry is happening. So I don't know if you
Mm.
had that, and what do you have to say about that?
More promises are promises. This is not the first time the president is pledging his life for the people of South Africa, but um, he could sincerely mean everything that he had said this time. I am saying that because um, you can be all mediocre and all relaxed when there are no voices that are telling you that you're going the wrong way. But this has been a call to wake up. That the way the votes went has been a call to wake up. For the first time, we have now a theme that says 30 years of democracy, partnership, and growth. You know what I mean? It's no longer just 30 years of democracy. So that having been a wake-up call to the president, the ruling party, and everybody who was in charge, maybe this time around, they would actually take things seriously. They would actually move us forward in the way that we want to be moved. Because I also listened to his speech after he was after the inauguration, where he mentioned that it's either we move together, all together forward, or we risk losing what we have worked hard and built as this country. So I do not think they want everything that they had fought for to be all lost. When I say they had fought for, I mean the freedom of from the apartheid and the ill experiences that our forefathers went through. I do not think they want that loss, because if you're looking at DA, there's still other traits in them. There's still other signs in them that show that if they could be fully in power, we may have a problem with the likes of Helen Ziller. We may have a problem. So I do not think they do want to they want to see DA having full power. They want to risk this country going back to where it was way before 1994. So maybe these promises this time, they're coming from the heart and they're actually meaningful. Maybe we will be surprised. Maybe they'll actually take us serious. Another thing that I marked when I'm on the speech, when he was making the speech, he actually mentioned some or 99% of the things, of the cry of the South African people. And I was so moved by that. It proved to me that they actually do have their ear on the ground. It's not like they're uninformed about what this country needs. And besides, they live in the same country, so they know what everybody is going through. If they are this clued up when he put in summary what this country needs, that gave me hope. That said to me, you know what? We may be surprised. We may see more changes. We may be heard better. I don't know, but yeah, it sounded like he means it this time. Whether he means it because of the wake-up call that they got, or he means it because he's grateful of the second chance that he's been given as a president again, we don't know. But let's just hope and see.
Mm. I mean, looking at the outlining, of what the do's and don'ts of, the GNU and the coalition, because we all know that whenever everything that was outlined in terms of what the parties should not do is mainly the something that was highlighted was this thing of putting your differences aside, so it's like
Yes.
as much as Duduzane Zuma, he once predicted that this coalition government is going to happen, and South Africa, it is not ready for a coalition government in terms of the history that has happened in the past years, so we are seeing this thing happening, and we are seeing now our president is also under pressure because now they are into another environment, another government national unity that they never thought it would happen, because they always thought that the ANC will always have those majority votes for the people. But certainly, South Africa's new cabinet is set to be revealed in the next few days, guys. So I think it is very important that to everyone to know that which parties has the ANC welcome to what we call the GNU. So let me read the parties that are included in what we call the Government National Unity. So in the Government National Unity, there's parties that have signed and agreed to join are as follow. It's a PA, the Patriotic Alliance. We've got the DA, we've got the IFP, we have the Good Party, we have the PAC, we have the Freedom Front Plus, we have the UDM, we also have Rise Mzansi, and also Al Jama that has just signed. So there are rumors that Mr. President Ramaphosa may increase the size of the cabinet. Speaking about the size of the cabinet, the question that is mainly asked is that, but how does South Africa's cabinet size, compare to the rest of the world? Because we're looking at countries that are moving forward that has, a smaller cabinet. But for us, that a country that is still developing and is still under this, under developing, construction and structure. So how do we then say it is a way forward to increase, the cabinet of this country so that we can see changes in our own country? So it's a question that is being asked, out there, that how does this big cabinet, is going to solve the problems that we have in this country? So I don't know if you have anything to say about the differences of having a small cabinet and the differences of having a big cabinet, because we are seeing in the rest of the world that countries like China, before you answer that question, so I have some stats with me here that says in the UK they have 22 ministers in the cabinet, and then also in Japan, they have 19 ministers. We are talking about countries that are very far when it comes to economic growth. We are talking about countries, that are very far when it comes to technological advances. But yet, we are here in South Africa, having these challenges of, seeing the cabinet of small people suffering. But now we are adding more on top of that. Is that going to solve our problems, or is that going to bring us solutions to the problems that we are facing in this country?
Honestly, Mo, I don't think the increasing of the cabinet is done to actually smooth the way and make things easy. I think it's done to please the parties as to getting everybody involved, so that they can say they didn't overlook anyone. Is it a wise decision? On the peacekeeping side of things, it is. But is it a wise decision for the people that voted for them and put them in power? It is not. It is just too much admin. It's like being in an office and create a lot of paperwork. Something that could have been signed by more and set into agreement. Now it has to via 10 more hands before it is concluded. For me, that's just a lot of admin, and it will create a a lot of blame shift still to say, in my hands, it was okay. If it was according to me, it would have went this way. But because there were 10 other people that needed to decide on it, so this is why it is not done, because nine out of those people, they were in disagreement. Um, Peacemaking for them to be able to sleep in the same bed, yes, it works. But for us, it doesn't work. It sends us nowhere. In my opinion, I think a cabinet should not be more than 30, in my opinion, honestly. And before this move, the president was talking about decreasing the cabinet, if you remember, before all this came into play. But now the language has changed because now the country is the way it is. And I guess this is the way they see fit. Again, on the GNU more, I do not want us as a country to focus so much on thinking this is a government of national unity. It is a coalition. It is what it is, a coalition in any language. Because if you look at the constitution of this country, it does not even allow them to actually have a government of national unity in action. So it is a coalition, and there's certain people given voice and certain people that will hold them accountable because they needed people who will side with them and actually make sure that the president is re-elected. It remained a strategy that had to be taken because there had to be a president at the end of the day. Everybody is bound to pull to their side because if it was a GNU in the true sense of the GNU, nobody would be saying my party had majority, therefore we demand this. Nobody would be saying let's maybe synchronize the what are these things, the manifestos, and see who mostly aligned, and then maybe give them more cabinet posts. There would not be such discussions. People would say, we are no longer DA focused. We are no longer EFF focused. We are now one government for the people. And since we are one government for the people, what is best then for this country to move forward? And who is best at what? Let us employ people according to what they're good at and what they have knowledge of or what they studied even. That should be how they look at things. The fact that they're still having disagreements as to I'm an alliance, I am a this and that, it means they still pulling each to their own side.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So right now on the comment section in TikTok, we have Bongani Morake saying if the government he can take the small town serious and farmers who will be better. Talking about that, making sure that the small scale farmers they also rise. There was a debate
mm,
that was going on in terms of paying attention to these small township into making sure that they get better, because there was a comparison that was made, guys, when it comes to solving these township problems and solving this division that we have, the slight
mm,
division that we have in our country when it comes to poor people and rich people. So they were like, okay, the problems that are happening in Rosebank, in Melville, wherever, in a suburb, they won't be the same as the problems that are happening in the town. So it's that thing that is
true.
ongoing, that whenever you are in a place whereby it is progressing and the people of that place they are really contributing into the country's GDP, they are going to be focusing on them, even though the focus is not 100% progressive into what they want. But compared to the people who are in the low chain, it's still going to
Mm,
be a problem, even though these parties are coming together and making sure that the people of South Africa are being served. So we also have the question from Rio saying, when are they announcing the cabinet? Following the inauguration on Wednesday, June 19, Cyril Ramaphosa is actually expected to announce his new cabinet imminently. We know that the president was
mm,
inaugurated inaugurated and put back into his place last week, ladies and gentlemen, on June the 19th. So he is going to, announce his new cabinet. But thank you about that, Nosi. So right now, I just want us, me and the people at home, if you're watching this live, please tell me, the importance and what do you want to see, into this new cabinet, the changes that you want to see, the ministries that need to be put forward. As much as we are seeing a slightly change on what is happening in our country, the focuses are changing and the things, are getting drafted into different places. So let us look at the 2024, the cabinet ministers list from A to Z, So it's that thing that for you wherever you are, how should we structure the importance of looking into the ministries, because we know that the country strives better when the economy is better. So I just want to highlight, okay, let me do this right now. I just want us to go through this together so that we can get a glimpse of what I am speaking about, just to, look at what we are hoping to see. Yeah, so I hope the technical team is sharing my screen with you guys into what the 2024 SA Cabinet Ministers A to Z list is looking like. So outlined, these are all ministers that we will be like we have here in South Africa. When it comes to ministry in South Africa and in the parliament, this is what we are looking at. So I think if you can see, let me just zoom in a little bit for you so that you can get a glimpse of what I am speaking about. And, just to see, the importance of what is it really, when it comes to this minister. So at top, we have the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, obviously. But the most important ones, they are there. So according to what you're seeing right now on my screen, I just want you guys to tell me, which, ministry is important. Well, Nosi, I don't know if, you pay too much attention to this, but for you, when it comes to, the ministries, which one is important to you when it comes to Minister of Finance, employment, labor, defense, and military veterans that we are seeing right here on our screen with the people? Which one of you is something that is really, really important for you that you can say this one, if the minister can put his work, it can actually change the country and put it into its better place?
Oh, Mo, this is not an easy one. Um, because we all cry about jobs, but I guess everything lies with the finance.
Mm,
So I would say it is a minister of finance. Why am I saying that? If they play their cards right, there could be more job creations.
mm,
They also are the ones that are holding decision as to how much budget goes to what in terms of this country.
mm,
We were just talking about farming now. If they could decide to reinstate the farming system in this country and actually put money into it, we know that would create more jobs, especially for the people that are deemed or said to be the lower class that actually have no qualifications. They
mm,
could be skilled, and those people could plant, and then they can in turn take the plants and then sell them to your Woolworths, your Shoprite, your Pick and Pays, and then make money for their families
mm.
and also be in business. So I'll say the Minister of Finance. Yes, definitely.
All right, thank you so much. So, for people who are watching at home, if you did not have any idea of what ministries are looking like in South Africa, and you're asking yourself, why are you seeing so many movements in the country happening? So, this is what is basically happening outside and inside the structure of South Africa and inside of the parliament. We've got different ministers into the different okay, so right now I have by the way, thank you so much, Melo, for sending those gifts right there. And then Melo comes and say the Ministry of Arts and Culture is important to me. I can literally relate why Melo is saying that, because he is an artist. So looking deep into the artistry in South Africa, we know that a lot of young people participate into the arts in this country, and a lot of them are complaining, about how the arts is not treating them as they're supposed to be treated. The fair treatment that each and every artist actually, deserve. Also we have Jasmine, Minister of Police and Finances. Those are the most important, ministers that people are actually looking at when they say these are where, the president should look at in terms of making sure that changes are made. Because, Jasmine, in the Minister of Police, we know that Minister Bheki Cele is going to be replaced, and we are going to be looking at the new minister in the police, and hoping that a lot of changes are going to come, and a lot of crime is going to be grappled into our country. So going back to Melo, I also want to ask Melo that what is it that the Ministry of Arts have done for you as an artist, and what changes and developments have you seen in the art industry as an artist? So we also have comments coming in. Users say international relation for investors, wise decisions are crucial regarding this. True that, true that.
Investment.
Yeah, that is so true, because there was this guy who was also going to be replaced as you know there was no movement, because also the economy, that ministry he was in, the economy was plunging, because we have a lot of ministers right here. I think it was Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition.
Industry.
In terms of
Yes.
international relation, I think it's Naledi Pando, if I'm not mistaken. Please, guys, correct me
Yes.
if I'm wrong. Naledi Pando is responsible for the international relation, making sure, that whatever happens and the relations that we have with other countries are stable enough so that we can grow our economy and grow, the sustainability of the three-legged, which is the social, the economy, and also, so looking at the development of small businesses development, those are the fields that we need to look at. So ladies and gentlemen, before I go to the break, I just want to share something with you right here on my screen, what I have spoke about lately. So Fikile Mbalula, okay, it's not, but it's just something that the ANC Secretary General, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, has confirmed that the cabinet will be a reflection of the government's commitment to national unity, with members from various political parties taking up key roles. And this move is also
Hope so.
Yes, this move is anticipated to bring diverse perspectives to the forefront of governance and catalyst much needed economic. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, right now, let us take a short break. And when we come back, we are going to discuss more of what Mr. President Ramaphosa said when he was inaugurated as the president of South Africa. And we will also play the clip for those who didn't see the clip, just to replay it and get to hear what the president really had to say, because a lot of people did not able to see that happening. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to continue with our topic discussion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mzansi Affairs. Right now, my time is strictly 1:30, and you're still with me, Moeketsi, my money, together with Nosi. Nosi, please, man, I just want to know how you're feeling, and, let people know how you're feeling as where you are, there is no electricity. I just want them to give a glimpse of what you are really feeling and the changes that you want to see.
More, for me, I want this Operation Vulindlela to actually take place and be taken serious. And if they can put BA in that, I know it will happen and it will be effective. For those that do not know Operation Vulindlela, it is a way to modernize or transform the network industries, including electricity, water, transport, and the digital communication. Electricity being the biggest factor right now where I am at, where we haven't heard it for 3 days now, four, because of a substation that burned down and we were linked to other substations that are now overloaded because they are not meant to be overworked, which means they were not serviced, they were not taken care of, nobody was maintaining them. We do not even know how old they are and when should they be changed. So because of that, also, we do not have jobs. And because we do not have jobs, we thought of means to sustain our living, and then we opened businesses. I am in the food business. It works with electricity because we have to cook things fresh every day. And it also means I store things in the refrigerator, which also needs electricity to operate. Currently, I do not have a business. I haven't had it for these many days, which means I am losing out money and I am losing our customers. And besides that, we cannot navigate, we cannot do anything. It is hard to bath because you literally have to, if you do not have a gas or no cylinder, you literally have to go and make fire outside to get water to just bath. And schools are closed, kids are at home. So everything is actually what usually takes us 10 minutes to do, it takes us longer than that now, and it's unbearable. The situation is really unbearable, especially on the losing money and not being able to attend to things that you need to attend to because you're not freshly bathed. You're merely bathing or addition ngamanzi amancane that you can gather for that moment. So it truly is not. Plus, it's winter more. It's cold. It's these houses are cold when there is nothing. There is no heat. I know people would say maybe we're crying about nothing because there are people that are staying without electricity. That on its own should not be a case. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I mean,
Operation Vulindlela for me, and the DA must be assigned to that operation so that
in
we can see change.
we hope that each and everything that you wish to happen that side, and all of the problems that you guys are facing can be eradicated, and you guys be treated fairly as any other citizens in South Africa, because we know that people have been fighting these harsh conditions of living without electricity. It's been a struggle. So I don't think right now it is the time for people to actually um uh, uh, be fighting and wanting to wanting electricity, because we know that it is a basic need. All of the people really need
Mm.
electricity. So going back to the comment section, so Melo says he wants the ministry to provide, okay, so he does want the ministry to provide all artists platforms to create a stable income for themselves. That is so true, because
Yeah.
as we know that artists are acting as independent in what they're doing. So
Mm.
they're not people who are earning monthly salary, monthly basic salary. So it is important for the ministry in the arts to make sure that each and every artist, I think a new structure needs to be rebuilt for the artist, to make sure that whoever is in the arts follow the guidelines of what they need to do, so that they can also sustain themselves, because we also have people who are so critical in the art industry coming out and saying they do not have the money. And these are the people that we have been looking up to. These are the people we thought that they are the people that we need to look up to in terms of making sure that they are taking care of themselves. And then saying, at least allow us to create a platform for ourselves and other artists. Melo, thank you so much for those comments, and you guys can keep on commenting and like the live, and also share the live. Also, if you're on YouTube, please leave down your comment. Also on Facebook, each and every social media platform, we go by the name Share Online. If you want to call us or send us a voice note right now, our WhatsApp line is 061 524 7758. It's 061 524 7758. So right now, Makabi Jake Muile 102 is asking, who is the deputy president? The deputy president of South Africa is Mr. Paul Mashatile, guys. Paul Mashatile, he is the president of South Africa. So right now, I want to, before I play the clip back of what the president said at the inauguration day, guys, I want to tell you something because in terms of the GNU, the Government National Unity, so Al Jama is the latest party to have joined the GNU. So right now, what is happening is that since ANC has been in power for such a long time, so politics, they call it a political game in this country. So you need to know how to play your cards right, right? So it's that thing that the ANC, it's not prepared to give up their economics and security portfolio. We are seeing people like Helen Zille coming forward and saying, we want a person from a member of our in our party to become the deputy president of this country. So it's those things that Mr. Ramaphosa will face upcoming when he announces his new cabinet, right? That is why it's taking so time, because I just can imagine the pressure that is happening, what is happening right now in the cabinet, in the parliament. So it's that thing that they are playing their cards to the chest. As much as you asked who is the deputy president, Paul Mashatile is the president, and ANC wants to keep the presidency with the consensus that Paul Mashatile should stay. Paul Mashatile should not be replaced, and he should stay. That is a question that you need to ask yourself. Why would ANC say Paul Mashatile should stay? Because we have agreed to go into a coalition. We have agreed to go into a GNU, which is called the Government National Party. So now the raising question is that as much as there are 10 founding political parties into the GNU, why don't they want to put, a deputy president from another party? But we will get deeper into that. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let me reshare the speech of the president that happened in the inauguration day. So I hope you guys there will hear each and everything that the president's saying, and please listen carefully.
In the presence of everyone assembled here, and in full realization, in the presence of everyone assembled here, and in full realization of the high calling I assume as President of the Republic of South Africa, I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and will obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and all other law of the Republic. And I solemnly and sincerely promise that I will always promote all that will advance the Republic and oppose all that may harm it. Protect and promote the rights of all South Africans. Discharge my duties with all my strength and talents to the best of my knowledge and ability, and true to the dictates of my conscience. Do justice to all and devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and all its people. So help me God.
There you have it, my beautiful people. I hope you heard each and everything that our president was saying. He is promising to obey the rules of the constitution. So I just want to hear from you. What is it that the president is seeing now that he has to obey the constitution of South Africa? He says he wants to be faithful to the people of South Africa. He wants to obey the rules. He wants to take care each and every citizen of South Africa and making sure that the country is put in its right place as he is was inaugurated and he was put back as the president of South Africa. I can see people there on the comment section, from Maswe, asking that, wow, faithful. This is inauguration. Yes, Peter Poison, it was the inauguration that happened last week in the 19th of June in Pretoria. And then we also have Maswe saying, so help South Africa, God. Lonwabo say, young people, we can take all these people out of parliament. They are benefiting us in any way. What's happening? I'm just coming now. So Diva, so right now we are discussing the new possibilities of the new cabinet that Mr. President will set in the upcoming days as he was inaugurated, and it was his inauguration of a president last week, July. So we just want to know from you, what do you think, in terms of Mr. Ramaphosa being re-elected again as the president of South Africa, and as he is about to announce the new cabinet, what are your thoughts? What do you think the ministries, who are the people who should be replaced in the ministries, and which important ministry need to be, to be focused at? So we just have Ulonwabo saying he'll be faithful to his pockets. It's what he meant. Sarah G joined now. What's the position? Okay. We have also Diva Me Too and no ANC faithful position. I don't understand why we should have pensioners as our leaders. That's a very good question. South is dead. We are no longer free. Jesus Christ. South Africa, we are dead. I mean, those are the concerns from people, Nosi. Like, I'm really reading the comment section in TikTok. People are really concerned on what is happening because we just played a clip of the president talking about how he will obey the rules of the constitution this time. So people are like, you know what, bro, what faithful are you speaking about? What is really happening? So, I mean, the concerns of the people, because as much as I asked you, what do you think, in terms of what the president said, and then you gave me your view. But now we are talking about the people right now who are actually commenting and saying, you know what, this guy is going to be faithful to his pocket. So the concerns of the people, what do you really think it does to, the people of South Africa?
More, it is concerning. It has always been concerning. It will remain concerning for this reason. Anybody now who has never been a president in that parliament cannot be judged on governing, on leading the country. But for President Ramaphosa, he'll always be judged based on what he has not achieved in his presidency, which then means the country remains, half of the country remains think that we have been failed by having him really re-elected as a president. That's the main concern, because now the issue, the big question is, what is it that he is going to change now that he did not change when he had an opportunity to? Or how long do these changes actually need to, how much time does he need to make these changes? Changes of electricity law. We have been sitting with this load shedding, load reduction for as long as I can remember after former President Zuma. We've been sitting at this situation, and to this day, it has not been resolved. There's not even one solution that has been put on the table. So if you come and talk about being faithful, what has held you from being faithful before? So it remains a concern to say, what you could not achieve at the time you were given, are you going to achieve it now? What were you busy doing if you are not feeding yourself, if you are not being faithful to your pocket? Can you guarantee us any change now if you do not want to give a chance to other people to be in power. I was listening to that statement that you made. I also came across it that the president says there is no need to change Paul Mashatile. There's a room for him to be deputy press. And he is saying this about a man whom he received a letter prior of his him being accused of corruption and whatever, and him also being accused of corruption with the Palapala situation, things that are not attended to, things that are overlooked, and we have him stand before us and making promises. Of course, people have the right to be concerned. If we see changes, like I said, would it be because they see now that they're being forced out of power, that people are tired of just keeping quiet and letting things be? Would it be because he's grateful that he's been re-elected and he's hoping to stay for longer? We do not know what had prompted the faithfulness, but he has not been fully faithful to the people of this country. That much we know. And it should not take 5-10 years more to solve the issue of electricity in this country. Just that one thing. You see now, had they resolved one thing, we would say at least they had attended to this. Let's see what they would do with much more time they've been given. So it is concerning.
It is.
I'm also a citizen who's concerned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying because it is very concerning, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at how the president was re-elected, a lot of people were looking at how the president was re-elected to protect a certain people in power. Because. For the longest time, people who have been power in ANC have been making connections with people who are in power to protect the minority that hold most of the wealth in South Africa. So when you look at how the president was re-elected back when they had the 7th parliament seating back then in Cape Town. So Mr. Malema was one of the people who, was also voted to become the president of South Africa. But how the Cyril Ramaphosa was voted back is it was about those who still seek the power, that they don't want him to go because the control that he carries, it is so much powerful that it can make our power to come back. So going back to the comment section, Junior King is asking that who is the vice president? The vice president of South Africa, guys, is Paul Mashatile, and right now there are allegations that Mrs. Helen Zille from the DA, Democratic Alliance Party, wants one of the people in the DA to become the deputy president of South Africa. So I hope you are answered. So yes, pensioners, there was this comment that say, I don't understand why we should have pensioners as our leaders. I know that young people are yearning for that power, to come and make some of the changes that need to happen in our country. So we have another comment that's saying from Lonwabo, saying the same cabinet who dug graves for us in COVID will no care for our well-being. Come on, that is so true. That is so true, because a lot of people were asking themselves during COVID-19, how some of the things were neglected, and people's lives were neglected. They were preparing people for death instead of preparing them for better health. So Junior King says South Africa in 5 years coming is going to be like Zimbabwe. So Reddy say, I believe in ANC and the DA. What are they doing? So Nolene comes saying, what are they doing what are they going to do with those money when retirement age 55 and 60 we do good as young people? Does the caller take into consideration the looting at Eskom during the 9 wasted years? I think that will be answered because we have so many comments coming from people. Bongani says, ANC protecting Cyril Ramaphosa no longer makes sense. Those DA demands are outrageous. We have to take him out. We don't deserve to lead us. He is a failure. president was re-elected only because of the coalition. They only knew that the only way that the coalition will work is to re-elect Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. So, as much as you guys, are flooding in your comments on what you are thinking, because right now our topic is all about forming the new cabinet. I just want to know from you guys before we go to a short break and coming back and sharing a screen of the ministries that are there in Parliament. I just want you to tell me, what ministries are important, and what which ones should we actually pay attention to in the ministries that we have, as we are seeing a lot of changes that are happening when it comes to the minister of police. So please guys, do not forget that we go by the name Share Online, and if you're on TikTok, please do make sure to share the live with the people that will really like to discuss some of these topics, and please follow us. You can also go on our YouTube, like and subscribe to Share Online. Also on Facebook, we are Share Online. And if you want to leave a comment or your text on our WhatsApp line is open at 0615247758. So right now, let us go to a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to conclude with this topic and look deep into the ministries that we have in the cabinet. Man, you are still watching Mzansi Affairs, and my name is Moeketsi Maimane, and I am also with Nosi on the call. Before we went to the break, Nosi, I just wanted, to show people, of the ministers. As much as you said, you would really love to see changes and improvements and developments in the minister of finance. So right now, once again, because people are flooding into my comment section and asking what is going on, guys, for the last time before we close the show, before we end the show, guys, let me go back into playing the clip of what the president said on the day of the inauguration. Mind you that this happened on the 19th of June, which was last week. This is what the president had to say when he was, inaugurated and re-elected as the president of South Africa. For those who didn't see it, this was the final words of the president as he was beside Mr. Judge Zondo right there at Pretoria. So let me take you back to what the president had said, and I just want to hear from you guys. What do you think?
In the presence of everyone assembled here, in the presence of everyone assembled here, and in full realization of the high calling I assume as President of the Republic of South Africa, I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and will obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and all other law of the Republic. And I solemnly and sincerely promise that I will always promote all that will advance the Republic and oppose all that may harm it. Protect and promote the rights of all South Africans. Discharge my duties with all my strength and talents to the best of my knowledge and ability, and true to the dictates of my conscience. Do justice to all and devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and all its people. So help me God.
It is when he said he came to a full realization for me.
Right?
Ooh, that statement, Mo.
Our
When the
beautiful
president says
president.
he came to a full realization. I don't know if he has not realized it before that he actually is in power and expected to lead like a man in power.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Cyril Matamela Maposa last week, 19 July, there at his day of inauguration. Telling people that he is, he's swearing that he will be faithful to you guys. So I believe that the president, all he is asking for is for you guys to be patient and become lenient with him as he is preparing for the new generation and for new developments of South Africa. So right now, let me go back to my comment section. We have, I think it's Tabodimu saying, how will manifestos be mandated as visions? It doesn't align. Lonabo say, I say Gaten gets Home Affairs. I think he'd do a good job because what you're saying, it's something that I can also emphasize on, because also on the election day, Gaten was there at the poll, was there, where the IEC was hosting these election. So Gaten was there emphasizing, he was emphasizing that, all the people who do not live in South Africa, all of the immigrants in South Africa, they have to leave. So Mandla Mtweni is saying DA in Tshwane reversed the gains of benchmarking, giving it national powers will be the end. Charlton say, will it be announced on this platform today? Not at all, Charlton, but
Not
we
today.
do gonna make sure that when the president announces his cabinet this week, we are going to come back next week Tuesday and actually sit down and break down each and everything that he had to say and what will be the new cabinet of the Republic of South Africa be looking like. So when he announces the cabinet, we will come back with the news to break down with you guys. So we have Prophet Emmanuel saying, God of heaven, help South Africa because our lives are in danger. Spusiso Abraham saying, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you so much, Spusiso, for being with. You will see to sell out of our people. Thank you for sharing the live again. We are saying we are patient. How much more must be done, to see change? In which is what Nosi was actually emphasizing on, that when the president is saying some of the things, is he saying them deliberately, or he was just the blind side of him, being blinded by power? That when you come back, you've been the president of the country, nobody knows, for how long, but you come in the day and tell the people that we are going, to do right by you. So it's that question that what have you been doing all along? So, Nosi, I want to jump into the
Yes, Mo.
2024 SA Cabinet Ministers list, in which that I want to share with people. As much as young people right now are starting to be politically active, and each and everyone who is in the comment section, they have commented down below that what do they think, it is the right ministry to focus on. We know that we have our top ones, which they do drive the country. So as new ministers take their positions, they will carry with them the aspiration of a nation eager for process. The road ahead is paved with opportunities and obstacles alike, but with a collective resolve, South Africa's future shines bright. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us go to our list of ministries, just to, let you know what is going on, when it comes to ministries. So I think let me sharing the screen with you right now. I hope you see from the top, when it comes to up until the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. So let me just, highlight the top that I have right now on my screen. So, what are the ministries that are very important and for young people to get there and make changes and see if those ministries are really going to help the future of the economic of the South Africa? Because if you're looking at the communication and digital technologies, right now we are using the technologies, and how can we use this technology to drive ourselves to becoming a better country and making sure that the people are well served into sharing the rightful information so that it gets to people as accordingly. So we also have what we call Minister of Employment and Labor. Are young people being employed enough to drive the country's economy to where it belongs? Because we are seeing that young people are complaining about jobs. They're complaining about put into the spaces of work so that they themselves they can better themselves and become the people that they want to become into this country, because the president sweared in that. So Nosi, I just wanna I just want to get a glimpse on what you really think, because we are seeing that, okay, as much as people are being integrated, we are seeing that the new cabinet is going to be announced. So what
Yes.
does that leave the unemployed young people? Because I believe that when it comes to looking at setting the new cabinet, it's something that it's going to take time for it to work. But now, is it going to solve the problems that the young people are having? Because the new cabinet is something that is going to take some time to solve, and for them to be in that cohesive in working environment and cohesive space for them to get things done. So what are we saying? Are we saying that are we going to see more unemployment rate going up because of the differences of each and every party that's in the coalition, or are we going to see a slight improvement?
More, we even if they elect a cabinet this very moment and announce it in the next hour to come, it would not immediately solve the unemployment rate of this country. I am saying this because I think they just somewhat mention numbers of how many jobs they want to create without really looking into how. The issue of this country is talk, no action. It is the how. So, without a cabinet, unfortunately, we cannot say there is a minister of employment and labor currently, because we do not know if they're going to reassume those positions or not. So currently we do not have a minister, let's assume, in that role. But whoever takes that place, whoever removes Tulas, it has to be somebody who has a vision of the how, who can put it to step by step for people, as to say, this is how we're going to create jobs. This is we are going to revive the mining industry. We are going to stop hiring artists from overseas and actually hire our own artists so that they in turn have jobs. We are going to equip our own sound engineers of this country. If they can maybe put in place how they're going to do these things, only then we will start seeing change. But otherwise, we will still be sitting here and crying. Another thing more that is devastating for this country, they said 5 years ago, young people need to start to become entrepreneurs, right? They need to start their own companies, and there are actually institutions that are put in place to finance these companies. Try and go and knock in those doors and see if not they're not going to ask you to bring a head of a train just for them to finance you. How are you then going to stabilize your company and actually hire other people? See, we're still going to have this same issue until they put in place somebody who is going to look at what needs to be done in order to create jobs, not the numbers. We can all have people say we'll create million jobs. How are you going to give us million jobs when you have not even given us 10, for crying out loud? You know what I mean? So we're still going to face that problem, even if they elect a cabinet tomorrow, even if they delay for the next 10 days, because now it's been 7 days and they should have given us a cabinet already. Under normal circumstances, by Sunday, we should have heard the cabinet already, but the circumstances are not normal. And again, with this cabinet and everything taking place, we're going to see a blame shift again. That when we should have been power and ruling and making things happen, we were delayed because we delay, discussions were prolonged because of disagreements. It'll be just a blame after blame after blame. We're sitting with an issue down here.
I mean, it's true because the delay, it has to be, a sign of showing the incompetence of what is happening and, not creating the environment of people being in the cohesive environment. So right now on our comment, we have Tabadimo saying, there's big stakes over land, hence DA playing riddles with the ANC. And then Lonwabo say, lots of the minister positions have to be scrapped. They are not doing anything. So not the temporary jobs, and extended the age criteria cause 35 is still very young not to get a job because of age. So those are some of the things that are actually preventing people and the economy of the South Africa from going forward and becoming more and inclusive in becoming developed. So as much as I had this comment, that there's a big stakes over land, hence DA playing riddles with the ANC. So I just want to read something. They're saying, meanwhile, the DA is believed to have set its eyes on the minister in the presidency, with its leader John Steenhuisen's head thrown in the ring. But constitutionally, it remains the president's prerogative on who to fill in his executive. So the DA's Federal Council chairperson, Mrs. Helen Ziller, says the ANC must know that the DA is a crucial partner in the government of national unity. Those are some of the differences that we are actually speaking about when it comes to these major political parties into making sure that everything is happening accordingly. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to stop right here. And then before I stop it, before I close each and everything, I see there are people who, want the video of the president being inaugurated to be replayed again. I'm just gonna replay it again so that to remind you of what the president was promising to the people of South Africa as he is going to set the new cabinet. So as much as he was inaugurated and re-elected as the president of South Africa, I just want to play a clip for people who didn't see and didn't watch the live streaming of the inauguration of the president last week on the 19th of July. Prophet Emmanuel, Major 21, saying, after 2 years, I see people in struggle. Please, guys, let us hope for positive things and see positive things happening into our own country. Before we close the show, guys, I just want to give you a glimpse and highlights of what was happening in the presidential inauguration that happened on the 19th of July. This was President Ramaphosa, besides the one and only trusted judge in South Africa, Mr. Raymond Zondo. And this is what the president had to say.
In the presence of everyone assembled here and in full realization of the high calling I assume as President of the Republic of South Africa, I, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and will obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and all other law of the Republic. And I solemnly and sincerely promise that I will always promote all that will advance the Republic and oppose all that may harm it. Protect and promote the rights of all South Africans, discharge my duties with all my strength and talents to the best of my knowledge and ability, and true to the dictates of my conscience. Do justice to all and devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and all its people. So help me God.
That was the president of South Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, playing you the clip of the inauguration that happened on the 19th of June. So before we close, we've got some last comments there from Lonwabo, Kimberly, also Maswe. Lonwabo saying, also, I need clarity. Why would the ANC partner with the DA instead of MK and EFF? They are all from the DA ANC. Kimberly says, all I'm saying is Jesus is coming back. So, those are the comments from the people. As we are closing, Nosi, please, your last words, please.
My last words more is they need to remove Gwede Mantashe as a Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy. They truly need to remove him. He must go and retire. And then that post must be taken by somebody who has the energy and the mind and still able to think further than being dismissive and arrogant, apart from not wanting or not understanding their job portfolio. Somebody who's not going to fight with the people of the news, but actually stick to what they need to do for this country in terms of mineral resources and energy. Lastly, can the government be the government of the people? And can they work together, putting their differences aside and actually delivering what is needed by the people, for the people? Can they now work for us, not for themselves? That's all.
Thank you so much for that, Nosi. You know, for right now, it can only be known what is seen to be going to happen in the next days when the president elects the people and the ministers in the cabinet. We hope for the best. We hope that change is going to come. As much as South Africa, it is in the days of revolution. We come and we please everyone to join the struggle, and we would like to invite each and everybody to become here with us, and let us unite as South Africans as we invite God into our country to help us each and everything that we are going through. My name is Moeketsi, my man, and this was Mzansi Affairs. Please, guys, catch us next week, same time, Tuesday, right here on Mzansi Affairs, giving you all of the updates that are happening in the country. And please do not forget to follow us on our social media pages. We go by Share Online on Facebook, also YouTube, also on TikTok. You can follow us right now on TikTok because we are going to come back with more updates on what is happening in the cabinet and in the ministries of South Africa. Nolu, please have a good rest of the day ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Mo. Please do have a wonderful one as well. I hope to see you soon.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mzansi Affairs. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. Thank you so much to all of those who have joined. Thank you so much to all of those who have commented down below on YouTube, on each and every social media platform. We are going to see you next week. Take care and stay safe.